2, roll camera.
I'm an independent filmmaker. I make documentary films. I've also made a feature film, but documentaries are what I do. I run a film company called White Crane Films, along with my partner and wife Ritu, and we've been running this company for almost 20 years now. Film is one of the most powerful medium of telling a story through pictures. With films, you can actually impact the way people see the world around them. You can actually make a difference. You have a sense of fulfillment. That you have been able to contribute something to the larger, knowledge and awareness of the world around us. The filmmaking process, you could really divide it into, a number of stages. The first stage is when you conceive of an idea and when you research it, when you write a treatment or a proposal. That's the first stage, and that's always an enjoyable stage. But then comes like the tough part, because you've got this story, you've got this idea. Now you need some financial backing. You've got to raise the money. Now say you've raised some money and you can go ahead and start shooting the film. That's again a very exciting part of the filmmaking process, because that's when you actually, all these ideas you had in your head, you see them now, you're actually like putting them on, tape or on film or on your disc, and they're becoming real. Then you have to edit the film. It's an exciting process because you're actually like, putting your material together and a story is emerging from that material that you've shot. But then, the film is made. If you're lucky, it gets a good reception. You feel really thrilled. People get to see it. You get their feedback. That's, that can be an exciting time in the filmmaking process. When I was growing up, the whole idea of making films was just something so completely outside your imagination. You could never even dream of doing something like that. So I wanted to be a writer, which already was quite a kind of a bold choice, I think, when I was growing up. So I went to journalism school to become a journalist. This was in America at the University of California in Berkeley. And when I was there, I discovered something called broadcast journalism, which I could also take classes in. And broadcast journalism allowed me to make documentaries. And suddenly I discovered that I actually enjoyed this whole form of telling a story through pictures and editing it together. It kind of suddenly seemed very appealing to me. And even though I started out wanting to be a writer, I ended up finishing the degree in broadcast journalism. And that's what kind of set me on my path to becoming an independent filmmaker. I think today it's become much easier for young people to opt for filmmaking as a career, because it's all around us now. Filmmaking isn't such a mysterious activity anymore. You can go to film school, you can get into the industry, so it's something that's much more accessible now. To be a documentary filmmaker, you need to have an open mind, you need to be curious about the world, you need to be dying to tell stories. These are qualities that you have to have, because if you don't have that desire to tell a story, to communicate a story to an audience, you can't become a filmmaker. The whole film media is like stronger than it ever was, so it's a media that we need to really take advantage of, and in this regard, if you look at, say, films made about Tibet, even in the exile kind of world, most of the films made about Tibet have been made by outsiders. There are very few films where Tibetans have made their own film, have told their own stories, and that, I think, is something that's really missing, and that's something that's really important. So I always encourage Tibetans to think about filmmaking as something that they should get into, and I really encourage you, if you have any kind of interest in this medium, do it, go for it, but don't expect it to be an easy ride. Don't get kind of fooled by the glamour aspect of it. It's not a glamorous profession, it's a lot of really hard work. And lastly, I have to say, don't go for shortcuts.